I wanted to be a man that detests mediocrity. It got me in a lot of trouble in the SEAL teams and going forward in my life, because I started looking down on people for not going hard as fucking shit. And I started to create different things, but that's for a different day. But I just believed that, my whole mind changed.
You may fall a few times, you may slip a few times, but that doesn't mean you quit. That doesn't mean you give up. That means you must find a way. And you must make a win. You got to continue to dig deeper than you've ever did in your life. Enough is enough. Enough with the excuses, enough for being complacent, enough for giving up. This is the time to recognize your purpose. This is the time for you to recognize your truth and make the most of your life. And if you're not willing to do that, then nothing's going to happen for you. Nothing is going to give you that true opportunity to be the best of yourself. This is not a game, ladies and gentlemen. This is a reality check. Ask yourself, how far have you gone? How much have you given up yourself? Why do you wake up every morning with the same excuse? Why do you wake up every morning saying the same thing over and over again?
But what I did, I sat down there and I put Rocky in. I got my milkshake, put Rocky. I said, you know what? I was big time in Rocky and Platoon. Why Platoon? I love to see people who were getting beat down, and there's scenes. There's scenes that just drove me, and people in my Hell Weeks, I was in 3 of them, they'd always hear me singing these songs, humming these songs in torturous situations when everybody's quitting this mode. I would be somewhere gone, and somewhere dark as shit. I love the guy who just fights. And so I put these things in as reminders that you're gonna have to suffer, man. This 2-5, man, you're gonna have to suffer to go from this fat, insecure one of the best guys on the planet Earth. This journey is gonna take something that is gonna be incomprehensible to most people. And these different visualizations, how I visualize in my self-talk, it became so nasty and dirty that I almost liked the fact that I went 0.25. So it became from being defeated to like, man, all right, maybe tomorrow we can go 0.75. It just became this different mindset. I turned negatives into positives. So I would take it like, who would even think about doing this? So I would sit on my couch saying, who at 297, who can't swim that great, who's scared of the water, would have the balls? Who have the balls to stand up, quit a job, and go and just put everything on himself?
Why do you feel you need that cup of coffee to start your day? Why do you feel you need to depend on your alarm clock to get up? Well, all you got to do is just get up. All you got to do is recognize exactly what it is that you need to do in your life now. This is the time you need to make up. This is the time you need to realize this. It's the time you need to do the best you can and give 110% of everything you got. How many hours do you put into your craft? How much work? Are you putting into your ideas? How many times? Have you taken so many breaks that it pushed you back instead of pushing you forward? How much suffering have you put into your craft? How much suffering are you willing to endure for success? This is the time you need to ask yourself. You need to get clarification within yourself and understand what it is to be successful. Success doesn't take vacations. Ask yourself is, how many champions have you seen in your lifetime? Or do you know any champions? Perhaps maybe you were a champion at one time in your life, but you took a vacation. See, the thing about champions is that there are very few of them, but there are many more people that do not understand the significance of what it means to apply significant hard work and to be able to get the hard work in and being able to persevere in their lives. I understand that you get tired. I understand you have those off days.
For 3 or 4 hours and put everything on the rock. And that's something that very few people do understand. They think he's crazy. And those are the people I can't talk to, because it's not craziness. He found something like I found something. I found this. I'm exploring this. He was exploring this. He explored it on the rock. I explored in different venues. Those are the amazing people, that's where I find amazing, who are willing to say, look, honey, I love you, but you have to understand something. I have to go away for a while here. I may not be with you all the time because it takes 100% focus to pull this off. I need quiet, I need dedication, I need sacrifice from myself. And I need full support, because it's gonna cost everything to do this one thing that takes 3 or 4 hours. That's the dedication. And that's the dedication that does not exist anymore. I had to always reset the bar. I had to reset my new norm. There always had to be a new norm. So one thing we don't do is we don't have a new norm. My new norm is you get up every morning at 4 o'clock and you suffer. This is your new norm. Most people want to get out of it. I said, no, this is your new life. This is who you are. Your new norm is you wake up and you suffer. And I started realizing if that's my mentality, this ain't hard anymore. Your new norm is you wake up, you get in the cold water. Whenever they say you're out, you get out. So my new norm, so I do that now today. My new norm now is if I'm doing a 200-mile run, your new norm now, man, is you're doing 200 miles. There may be some days I get up with poopy pants and I'm like, you know what, man, what am I training for? I have no race in the docket. Why am I having such a structured life? Why? And I'm like, you know what, I'm good. I'm done. I retire every day. And I sit around and I say, okay. And then this is my thought process. So you want to be normal.
Where he hate me for where he put me, that means. If he gave me an assignment to do now, sometimes we have to pick people to do stuff because we don't have any better. Options, not God. God is options. He called who he wanted. If you have low energy, you don't have any passion. You know some people, they're already dead. They haven't made it. Official yet, but passion gives us a great amount of energy. And when we have that passion, there's something about how we love what we're doing and we enjoy. What we're doing and passion energizes. As a person, passion always stands. I realized that I believe God spoke the word about being even more careful than ever about complaining. I don't consider myself to be a big complainer. Now I used to be that God just kept chipping away at it and chipping away at it and chipping away at it, and every time I start to get maybe a little bit loose and murmuring a little bit more.
So you just want to be like everybody else that roams the world, not knowing the power that's in them, being fine with being mediocre. You want to go back to who you were, huh, David? So bad this guy. I see a whole bunch of people walking around out here. We have no idea how talented they truly are. And I'm talking about talent, like some God-given ability. Talent that sometimes you have to hone, you have to work on, you have to harness yourself. And they just walk around just on their phones, just clueless to how powerful they are. When I was fat as hell trying to be a Navy SEAL, the scariest thing in the world to me, even to this day, was that could have been the rest of my life. I thought then I was trying hard. I thought that was me at my 100% potential. Come to find out, a few years later, I wasn't anywhere near that. 106 pounds less, graduated Navy SEAL training, went on to do all these other things. Looking back on that, that was me trying hard. That's why people gotta understand what is in us. We have no idea until we start trying hard. And I mean really trying hard, where you're obsessed with, hey, this is my new norm. My new norm is that, wow, this isn't always fun. It's not always meant to be fun. And that's when you know you're trying hard. I remember that moment like it was yesterday. I was a fat guy trying to be a Navy SEAL now, and my life had come to this crossroads where I'm like, man, you have to go right. And no one was going right. Everybody was going left. I'm like, you have to go right. And to know the pain and suffering I was about to endure by going right, the amount of accountability and failure I was going to witness and suffer by myself, alone on this journey, it was daunting. I had this haunting voice in the back of my head. A lot of us have it. We just ignore it. And it was there for years. So I knew in the back of my mind that I could pull off this whatever.
You needed your sleep, oh, I need to catch up on my sleep. If you can't catch up on your sleep, there is no such thing as catching up. It means nothing but going up to the next level in your life. That's what it's about. It's been a long day, it's been a long night. You've been putting in so many hours, but yet are you in a position to quit? Or you're in a position to go hard? Are you in a position to go strong? Are you willing to dig and go as far as you can in your life? Are you willing to suffer? See, you've got to understand when I talk about champions, when I talk about people who are ultimately successful, you've got to Remember, these people don't take breaks, they don't know what rest is when everybody's telling you should rest. There are no off days when it comes to success. You have to have the ability to stand on it. And stand up and rise up to the occasion in getting the work done. You've got to suffer through success, you have to believe. In your possibilities, you have to understand that there's only one person that can get it done. If the rest of the team is not doing what they need to do, then you have to take the charge. Maybe you don't feel you have leadership qualities, but you do. We are all positioned to leave some point in time in our lives. But are you prepared to suffer? Are you prepared to go through the nights and the daytimes and many hours of applying everything you have within yourself that you had that point in your life when you were just so tired and you couldn't push that next hour over?